McDonald, and Trump affect me in my day-to-day life? I may complain, and it hurts. Who let the dog out? You are a clear and present danger number 45, not OCD, but CPD. Who let the dog out? In my anagram of basic instructions before leaving Earth, that means straightforward Bible. You number 45, your terms, or your anagram mostly based on money. Number 45, why don't you claim in simple terms bankruptcy, as you've done twice or thrice before? You are a specialist, aren't you? Who let the dog out? Mrs. Nancy Pelosi, are you the Bob? Who let the dog out? In the Netherlands, when a person does not drink at a party, they call him the Bob, a person who needs to stay sober to make sure that party returns home safely. Who let the dog out? My question to you, Mrs. Nancy Pelosi, are you the Bob? Are you, Bob? As I understand in the North American system, having lived 35+ years in Canada, the governing body both number 45 Mr. Trump and McConnell are the intoxicated parties by the power you hold. Who let the dog out? You, Nancy, as the Speaker of the House, Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. You, as the Speaker, are the third person in charge. Please, be the Bob, and make sure everyone stays safe. Mrs. Nancy Pelosi, please stay sober and be the Bob of the American disaster or runaway train of which I am an unwilling passenger. Who let the dog out? Brer Caleb, Ph.D. Tough times never last, tough people do. So, what are you saying? Am I allowed to take a position? Do we understand the difference between regret or confusion? A confused mind will not follow Deception Protocols Simplified. His flock will know the shepherd's voice. Harsh and turbulent times are on the horizon. Brer Caleb, Ph.D. is a penname of a citizen of the other kingdom. The Ph.D. stands for post-hole digger, for we will continue to dig for a proper foundation for our prodigal son and daughter. Tough times never last, tough people do. Mrs. Nancy Pelosi, are you the third person in charge? Please be the Bob and make sure everyone stays safe. Who let the dog out? Mrs. Nancy Pelosi, please stay sober and be the Bob of the American disaster or runaway train, of which I am an unwilling passenger. Who let the dog out? Brer Caleb, Ph.D. Tough times never last, tough people do. So, what are you saying? Am I allowed to take this position? Do we understand the difference between regret and confusion? A confused mind will not follow Deception Protocol. Who let the dog out? A quick note from Brer Caleb, Ph.D. His flock will know the shepherd's voice. Harsh times and turbulent times are on the horizon. Who let the dog out? For we will continue to dig for a proper foundation for our prodigal son and daughter. Tough times never last, tough people do.